Welcome back to channel Adrian TV, and y'all know me as Adrian. But before we get into today's video, y'all know what y'all need to do. Subscribe to the channel, like and comment on the videos. Also follow me on Rumble where I post, and if you have anything you want me to react to, sports, the dynamics between men and women, or an Ask Adrian question about your own personal life, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can hit me up on one of my social media platforms. They'll be pinned in the description. And y'all, welcome to another video. And then on this topic, I've also talked in previous videos about should men hang out with women? And as I've said, I do have female friends and female associates, and women I'm really cool with, but I really don't hang with them. And I came across a video with Joy Taylor, and she said she doesn't want to date a man that doesn't have female friends. So let's watch the video, and then I'm going to give you my reasonings to why men really have female friends but don't hang with them like that. And it kind of proves a lot of points that I said in previous videos. So let me play the video first, and then I'll give you my thoughts.
I don't want to date a man that doesn't have any female friendships.
Bingo!
I don't want to date a man who only gets input from other men and who has all women in two categories: your mother or your aunties, or someone I want to sleep with. You have to have a broader spectrum on women and their value in your life if you're going to be with me.
Totally. Well, first off, only getting information and opinions from other men sounds terrifying.
Terrifying.
So I encourage that to not be what anybody does ever, but you're totally right, because the more we keep talking about can you have friends of the opposite sex, the more I start feeling like everybody is like primal animals in a zoo. You literally cannot physically be around someone of the opposite sex without just like your clothes coming off. Like, I don't
Crazy.
do it. I don't, and I would never have any relationship that I'm ever in. Like, I'm not going to tell my partner, you can't be around women, because if I feel like I have to tell you that, what does that say about what I think you're like when I'm not with you? That I can't trust you to be around women, that like platonically. I would say that says more about my choices and who I'm with, because I'm never going to feel like I have to control you or I have to monitor the friendships that you are in.
Yeah, so a lot to unpack there. Now, first, in the very beginning of the video, Joy Taylor says she doesn't want to date a man that doesn't have female friendships. So here's the thing. Men and women do view friendships a little bit differently. I would say most men have female acquaintances and a few homegirls, or what women would consider friends. But when we're younger, like high school, maybe early college, we may hang out with them. But when we get older, you know, responsibility, trying to build a business, trying to get to where we want to get in life, if we do want to have a family, because as I said in previous videos, men's utility comes from their value. So you have a very limited time. So you have to work, become successful so you can provide for a family. And the reason why I say that is because men and women lives are different. Women, we don't come to you for value when it comes to protection and provisioning. That's why with time is different for us than you. You have a time on biology clock. And you may be saying, well, Adrian, what does that have to do with friendship? Friendship between the two. Our lives are completely different. So when they made another point saying that I don't want men that only take advice from other men, in my personal opinion, I think that's the best way to do it, because I don't think a woman can raise a boy to a man. Now, of course, there's some exceptions to the rule, but the majority aren't. That's why you see a lot of men from single parent households are super emotional, weak, fat, don't have any type of drive. For example, I'm not from a single parent household. I'm a military brat, but a lot of times my dad would be away. But I would go to the gym. Like I said in previous videos, I would walk or run to the gym even if the gym was 2 miles away. Now, my mom did not teach me that, because my mom doesn't go to the gym a lot. I did. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm the exception, but it's not the rule. I know a lot of kids that come from single parent household. That boy, when he became a man, emotional, weak, soft, fat, doesn't have any type of drive or ambition, and makes a lot of decisions emotionally. That's why I say it's best for a man to raise that boy into a man. And keep in mind when I'm saying this, you can be friends with the opposite sex. But for example, I have a lot of homegirls and female friends, but do I necessarily want to hang with them? No. In social gatherings, parties, or whatever, yeah, but one-on-one or a small setting, no, because like I said, men and women are completely different. Number one, women don't tell the truth to each other. They always coddle and lie. You know, when the girl asks her friend, does the dress make her look fat? The friend may say, well, we won't tell her that the dress does make her look fat. She'll say, oh, just wear this color instead. Men, on the other hand, will say, nah, bro, you're getting fat. You see that? That's a big difference between the two sexes. Men like myself, I rather be with other men since we can be open and honest with each other. And if you can't be open and honest with another man, that kind of lets you know he's more on the soft, sensitive, and emotional type. Then I'll be honest with you, depending on the setting, it can be weird. For example, I'm never gonna call one of my female friends or homegirls or whatever, I'm never gonna call them, hey, let's just go out for drinks, me and you. I wouldn't even want to do that. Now, some of you may be saying, well, Adrian, well, why would you want to hang out with your female friend? Like I've said, men and women are very different. Now, I know there are some exceptions to the rule, but you know what? I'll use this example. Any men that are watching this, ask your homegirl or female friends that you're really cool with, if they had to pick between two people, would they want to hang out with you by themselves, or would they rather want to hang with a man that they actually like, that they can see a future with? Odds are they're going to choose that man. So, and that's what I'm saying, that's the difference. Like, I have female friends, but I necessarily don't want to hang out with them. And just because there's nothing romantic there doesn't mean I view them as a sex object. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm uber competitive, I'm driven, I'm very blunt. So typically men act more like that than women do. Now, like I've always said, there are exceptions, but remember, exceptions do not make the rule. And I even got an example. I remember one woman, I heard her talking to somebody else. She said, no, I can't ask Adrian for advice, he's too mean. And see, even that, in other words, me being blunt and honest about it, women would view that mean, whereas men will consider that as being respectful. And like I said, if the man would think me being mean by being honest and telling him the blunt truth, that lets you know what kind of man he is. Now let's go to a few commenters' comments. One commenter said, I have two female friends, my wife and my mom. I know other women, but I'm not confiding in them as a friend. See, my point exactly. Like, you have your main women that you're close with. It can be your mom, your wife, your girlfriend, and a few homegirls you raised with, but you're not gonna confide to them because men know how to solve men problems. The best way I could describe it is, when women have a problem, they want you to hear. When men have a problem, they want to solve it. Once again, that shows you men and women are very different. And another commenter said, yeah, I don't want my man with female friends. I'm good on that. And another commenter said, I get what she's saying. A lot of dudes can't relate to women outside of sexual capacity. It's because we're different. Now, people need to stop trying to make it so deep. It's very simple. I'm pretty sure men understand women on a basic level, like basic human decency. But as I said, would I rather be around a whole bunch of women that are gonna lie to each other and coddle to each other, or would I rather be around more men that are going to be driven, hardworking, and be honest and blunt with each other? I already know some of y'all are gonna say, Adrian, some men don't act like that. I agree with you. That's why I cut them off and keep them moving. Another commenter said, no, more than likely it means he has developed the ability to think for himself and is compassionate enough to not need to run to other women for advice. Thank you. Like, it's literally that simple. And then what I said earlier, I do not think women can give the best advice to handle man problems because we're different. As I said, men's value is protectioning and provisioning. Women's value is more feminine, docile, being nurturing and supporting. We are two different beings. It doesn't mean that one's better than the other. You need both to build a family, but we're just very different. And to go back to that comment, it also shows that he has probably developed a good circle of mature, successful men who also hold him accountable and have already established relationships with their wives. This is silly. Thank you. And once again, that commenter is right. As she said, he's probably around a successful, mature group of men. Like I've said, I rather be around successful, driven men. Now, there's nothing wrong with being around successful, driven women, but as I said, we're different. I know women who are successful and driven, but they still lie to each other. And that just goes back to how I said men and women are different. It doesn't mean that you just view women as a sex object and that's the only way you can hang out with her. But let's just be honest, that's the reason why a majority of men do hang out with women, is for some type of sexual access. Because like I've said in the past, most men wouldn't want to hang out with a woman because they would consider it as wasting time, unless it's like a party or a social gathering. Now, those are my thoughts on it. And honestly, a lot of these things I've touched in previous videos. There's nothing wrong with having female friends. I have female friends, but do I want to hang out with them? If it's like in a party or social gathering, yeah, but for the most part, no. Like last week, one of my homegirls hit me up, hey, you want to go out for drinks? I was like, no, I got my business to work on. I got my YouTube to work on. You see what I mean? Like, men and women, we're different. It doesn't mean I don't care about her as a person. Doesn't mean I don't wish her well in her life. It's just that at the end of the day, men and women are different. And I think more men would rather hang out with more men than women. But y'all let me know what you think. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video.